next session. I'm really excited about this session because the speaker is my mom, and is a very interesting person and very wonderful speaker in this place. Oh yeah, I can see him now. So I'll just quickly read his profile, and I'll just give you a very short background story. The first time we met, we're at an event, and I just saw this man speaking so passionately. At some point, he dragged myself and Pelumi outside. We talked, and I was like, wow, this is a very passionate person who's passionate about what he does. Let me just read his profile, right? When you get his profile, you understand why he speaks the way he speaks and why he's really passionate about what he does. His name is Oludare Akinlaja, right? Oludare is a development consultant focused on learning and organization development, strategy and innovation, project management, monitoring and evaluation, and research. He has worked across industries ranging from startups, education, social enterprises, public sector organizations, and so on and so forth. He's also a lecturer, an author, and a theologian. He is the managing partner of Oludare Akinlaja Research and Development Company, a global training and development consulting company with products and projects that drive individual and institutional transformation. One of the major products of OAR&D, that's Oludare Akinlaja Research and Development Company, is Yadaversity, a technical and vocational training school. He's the president of Yada Global Ministry, a faith-based organization that trains and equips individuals to apply perspectives from the Bible to effect change in their lives so that they can impact society. He sits on the boards of various companies, not-for-profits, and so on. He's passionate about Africa. He's a very passionate person, right? He's passionate about Africa and believes in possibilities on the continent. Ladies and gentlemen, join me as I welcome Mr. Oludare Akinlaja.
Hey, hi, Desmond. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, great. All right, it's good to be here. Thank you for having me, Desmond. I had plans to share a screen, but I think I'm going to tweak it, okay? Because speaker has already got the slide. It was as engaging as possible. I'm supposed to be speaking on disruption, Desmond.
Yes. So you want to disrupt?
Yes, I'm supposed to be speaking on disrupting the status quo, and I'm innovating for the future, and I'm going to disrupt a bit. Good evening, everybody. I listened in on the questions, and I'm going to use most of the questions that were asked to drive my point this beautiful Friday evening. I have found out that the most important thing about conferences is not the excitement you get, but the clarity that you get. Too many young people are used to going to conferences so they can just mark their attendance. Okay, they can just say they attended the conference. But we must begin to see conferences as learning experiences where clarity and perspectives shift. So this evening, what I want to do is to help you shift your perspective a bit because we throw around words, and the first speaker said it, and it's something I have noticed that always happens around this generation. People throw around words. People use words like disruption. People use words like innovation. People use words like we are innovating. Okay, but the problem is, I was speaking somewhere, I think it was with a group of people, and I said the English language, I think, is the most limited language, simply because it does not speak it does not completely capture your thoughts at times. You can't completely use a word to describe everything you are thinking sometimes, and therefore you have the limits of the true meaning of certain words. So today we are talking about disrupting, we're talking about innovation. So I went to find out, I went to get a definition of what disruption is. So we'll start from defining the word. We'll move into understanding the concepts of disruption and innovation. And I'll tell you personal stories to emphasize certain things so we can be as practical as possible. I promised myself that I will not come to speak to people until I can create certain pathways in how you process and see information. Because this generation must, of a necessity, not be excited with having just information. Because if you ask everybody here, what does it mean to disrupt? Everybody can say something about disruption. If you ask everybody on this call, what does it mean to innovate? Everybody on this call can give you a definition of innovation. But most of the time, the things we say are based off just our senses picking that information. Oh, this is a definition of disruption. So I'll define disruption. Okay. It's a fact of life. Is the process. So this is business disruption. Is the process in which a product becomes popular enough to replace a traditional or common product or service. That's business disruption. What it just says here is disruption is when we shift away from traditionally doing things or the traditional way of doing things. If you are old enough here, you will remember how we used to make phone calls, okay? I don't know how many of you remembered when most of us had to go and wait in our neighbors' houses because we wanted to receive phone calls from the abroad. Permit my use of English. We wanted to receive phone calls from the abroad, so we had to go and queue in our neighbors' houses. I don't know if anybody remembers that. Or we wanted to watch specific channels and we had to wait till 4 p.m. to watch certain channels. Now, what has happened over time is that disruption has taken place, okay? And the way we used to do things traditionally has currently changed. I remember the first speaker speaking about businesses that we first once used to think were businesses that were the ace businesses and are currently obsolete. I'll remind you of one, BlackBerry. Who would have ever thought that BlackBerry will go out of market? Who would have ever thought that nobody will be happy to own a BlackBerry now? That phone used to cost at least 120,000 or 100,000 to own most of the phones we used to buy then. And they used to change it just like what iPhone is doing now. They always used to change the phones. Okay, you have both 5, you have both 4, and all that stuff. That was disruption. Our lives are currently being disrupted. COVID disrupted the ecosystem. The Russia-Ukraine war is disrupting things. So disruption will always happen. The internet was a disruption. Okay, I will say that disruption is like evolution. Okay, it will happen. It must happen. Disruption must happen because human life, form as we know it, must progress. Form as we know it must progress. However uncomfortable, painful, and difficult, we all must come to terms with disruption. Now, in defining most of these things, I wrote here, we get confused because some of you are doing businesses now, and I need to say this because it's a business seminar. Some of you are selling things that don't have to be sold. I'm looking for a right word. I'm looking for how to put that correctly. Some of you are selling things that are in the past. Okay, you are positioning your business with the past in mind. You are positioning your business thinking in reverse. instead of thinking into the future. You are positioning your business thinking traditionally. You are positioning your business assuming or thinking that the customers that you have are still the customers from 1948 or 1978. Disruption means that your customers and how they behave will be affected. Your customers and how they think about your product will change and be disrupted. Now, one of the things I also want you to understand about disruption is that there are 4 things in strategic management where they call the external environment affecting your business. 4 things can affect strategy: political, environmental, social, and technology. Okay? The first is political. It's called PEST. It's an acronym. It's PEST. First is political. The second is environmental. The third is socioeconomic. The fourth is technology. Now, whether you like it or not, a transition of political power is going to disrupt business. Now, the first speaker spoke about banks. And I'm not sure we listen to get clarity. The first speaker spoke about banks not being able to loan money anymore to oil and gas companies, or not. That's not what they would think of quickly, simply because they have to do their ESG. Okay, governance is environmental sustainability governance. What it means now is, how is your organization supporting the sustainability of the environment? How is it taking into cognizance issues that are destroying the environment? So companies are going to be watching not to spend money in order, or invest. Banks will not invest money in organizations they are thinking will affect the environment. So these are disruptions that are taking place. Now, the 2 words, disruption and innovation. Okay? Now, based off disruption, okay? Now watch the link, watch the link, watch the link. Because of disruption, you now have to innovate your way to making your products buyable, to making your products attractive, to making your service, it doesn't even have to be a product, to making your service attractable or attractive to the new kinds of market you are beginning to have. And let me say this, many of you are too stuck on your ideas. Your ideas are so beautiful and so lofty. I used to be there. I used to celebrate ideas. I was passionate about celebrating ideas. Passionate about celebrating my ideas. But your ideas would not create value back to you if it doesn't have a market. Somebody must be giving value to that idea, that product, for it to give you returns. If you are not currently doing that, sir, you are in social service. You are in social service. The essence of a product and a market is so that buying and selling can occur. So that buying and selling can occur. If buying and selling is not occurring with what you call your idea or your business, maybe you should make adjustments and move into other things. So if there's disruption, there must be innovation. If disruption is taking place, innovation must be taking place. I'm sure most of you can see now that they are beginning to bring electric buses. Now, some of you are laughing. Now it's Nigeria, will electricity work? How will we charge it? It is going to come. It might not be today. It is going to come. How are you preparing your business for that future or for that disruption that is certainly going to come? How are you positioning your business Are you still thinking traditionally? Are you still thinking? And some of you fall into this trap. Oh, it's Nigeria. When will Nigeria catch up? We're not abroad. Oh, it's Nigeria. You need to begin to think about adjustments that are taking place in your environment, cultural adjustments. Like I said, disruption does not only have to be technology. And I must say this, because of the acceleration of technology, we are always interpreting disruption only in the light of technology. We are not interpreting disruption in the light of customer behavior, for instance. Because technology is not just shifting, it's not just making adjustments to how you perform a task. It is also adjusting behavior. It is adjusting human interactions. So if technology is adjusting human interactions, that means how people think about your product is changing. It's important. So technology is making the changes, but they are intangible assets. It's called intangible asset strategy. They are intangible things that technology is creating that sometimes you might not be paying attention to. They're very intangible. You don't see them. Customer behavior, how people perceive your product. So there was a book, I'm trying to remember the name now. I had it somewhere around here. It speaks about the underlying power of culture. The underlying power of culture. Let me tell you a funny story. When ShopRite came to Oyo State, Ibadan, they could not believe that when they set up ShopRite in Ibadan grossed more than all the ShopRites in Nigeria. More than all the ShopRites in Nigeria. Now, what I'm going to say now, I need to apologize in advance. I'm not trying to speak down on anybody from Oyo State, okay? But this was what they found out. First, Ibadan people are always excited by new things. So the principle of a new thing worked. Secondly, because of the brand perception of ShopRite and the mindset and the culture of the environment, people used to go to ShopRite to buy a bottle of Coke simply because they wanted to come out with the nylon bag. People will go to ShopRite to buy sweets. Because that's what is laughing. Because they wanted to come out with the ShopRite nylon bag. So what that did was they were making so much cumulative money. I know Oyo Ibadan had the population. So they were making so much money because of the bottom billion market. People who were buying one item, Coke, 150, sweet, 15 naira, chewing gum, 15 naira. There was so much crowd. Sometimes you get into the ShopRite in Ibadan. Half of the people there are not even buying substantial things. They're just picking items. But they were cleaning out. Who would have thought? So disruption is not always technology. I want you to know that disruption does not always come by technology. And that's what technology is doing to us. We are just focused on technology as process. Technology as amplifying process. We are not thinking about the spin-off effects that the technology is creating, the disruptions that technology is creating that seem intangible. Very powerful. Culture. 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 So, after disruption, innovation must then come. Innovation is a process by which a domain, a product, or a service is renewed and brought up to date by applying new processes, one, Apply new processes, one, take note. Two, introducing new techniques or establishing these ideas to create new value. So your ability to find new ways. Listen, not every innovation is new. It's new. Because there's this facade we know is new. No, it doesn't have to be new. It doesn't have to be new. It might just be a better way of doing something that people have been doing before. And disruption will always offer you that opportunity. Everybody's building real estates now, and people are buying real estates. And somebody came and said, you know what? I'm not just going to do a random real estate, I'm going to do a smart city. Where you will not see overhead cable, you won't see this thing, every of this thing is automated and all that stuff. So you must understand that. The essence of innovation is to create value. If you're not creating value, you're not in business. You can't threaten people to buy your product. And that's what most of you are doing. You are threatening people to buy your product. See, the sustainability of any product lies in its ability to connect with the emotions of its customers. That's why videos are now easier ways to sell things, because people seem to have connections with who they are selling to once it's a video than just a random flyer. Because the flyer is speaking to your logic. Okay? Flyer is speaking to logic. Video is connecting with emotions. So that's why you have people doing more videos to sell their products. But even in the videos, are you aware that the kind of words you use, even in the videos, can evoke certain kinds of emotions? So you have to look at your business again. It's like I told you, I said to myself, I won't teach if I can't help you try to see things differently, or try to help you amplify the things you already know. Look at your business again. What value is it really creating? What value? What value? Is the value location sensitive? Is it time sensitive? Let me tell you about an innovation. There's a friend of mine called TDA. That's the name of the business. TDA had always used to sew natives and clothes. And a lot of people always would come because, oh, they're his friends, so they used to come and sew. But TDA found out a cultural gap that was evoking loads and loads of emotions in people. So let me ask you a question. Can someone type me in the chat now what challenge people always have with tailors? What challenge? Just type so I can help you understand something. So what challenge? I'm not seeing any response. Timely delivery. Thank you, Desmond. Timely delivery. Timely delivery. So TDA said to himself, I'm good at what I do. I'm good at sewing. I'm good at late delivery, okay? I'm good at sewing. I have quality fabric. I have quality items. I have quality that. But how do I create value within this space to build me my own niche through innovation? TDA started to do the first 24 hours clothes sewing. Are you listening to me? 24 hours. You take your fabric in the morning, by night, your clothes are ready. By night, your clothes are ready. So when you speak about innovation, innovation is not just, oh, bright idea, new idea. People didn't used to eat People didn't used to eat akara ball in Tokyo, so I took it there. No. Innovation can just simply be about a process, making adjustment with the process. Innovation can mean understanding the culture of a people, what evokes their emotions, and creating value around it. The first speaker too gave a case study that I hope people listen to. She said in their business for children, they found out that parents were not buying. Why? It was only people who were looking for gifts to give to children that were buying. Do you understand? And that's why when you're thinking about a business, you must really be thinking. You must really be thinking. As an entrepreneur, you must really be thinking. So 2 days ago, or 2 weeks ago, I sat down and I looked at our consulting company and I said to myself, I think what we are focused on is just helping individuals and organizations find clarity and build competence. What I'm doing for you now is helping you find clarity. I understand the value of what we are doing. You see, if either in a strategy session or in a teaching session, my greatest joy is your aha moment. Aha, makes sense. That's why we're in business. That's why we're in business. I can literally put our motto as creating aha moments for individuals and organizations. So before you start innovating, you must understand the essence of your business. See, listen, your business must, the life of your business, listen to this, and it's interesting. The life of your business is the why, is the thing that makes it unique. That's the life. That's the propelling factor. That's what keeps it alive. That's what will not make your business get swallowed up. That's the resource you can't trace or you can't trade. That's why you see people say, oh, they stole the idea. They will tell you, go and implement the idea. If you don't have the life of the essence of the idea, the interpretation of the idea. So business is not just, you don't come from the forward. No, sir. Everything has a life. There must, even Warren Buffett, who is an investor, ask him the reason why he knows the companies that he should invest in. It's a trade secret. It's the uniqueness of what makes him Warren Buffett. It's the uniqueness. So your business must have that uniqueness, that essence. It's what gives it life. From there, you then begin to innovate your way to the top. Many of you are trying to innovate on faulty foundations. Check the essence of your business. Check the essence of your business. Why are you in business? What do you want to solve? Why are you there? I can understand, okay? We're in an environment where, okay, there are side hustles, people want to do business because, okay, they can create multiple income, they can be able to make more money. That's okay. That's okay. But you must ensure, because we're talking about innovating for the future, for you to build, for you to build and not allow disruption catch up with you or disrupt your business. You must be thinking of moving, of scaling from just that survivor to begin to create products, to begin to create value. How do you make that transition? How do you build upward? How do you innovate upward? I wrote it here. Innovation has a personality. You must first become before you produce. And that's what makes entrepreneurs. That's why most of the people in business in Nigeria are not entrepreneurs. They're just trying to survive. If you're an entrepreneur, innovation is a character you must have. How do you build this? Out of the box thinking. 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 You must be open to new experiences. You must be open to new experiences. You must be open to new experiences. I always say it this way. You must be ready to be a host to crazy thoughts. You must be ready to host crazy thoughts. Crazy thoughts. You must be ready to host it. I'm sure most of us who did chemistry here, you know, ions move about until they find where to connect, or molecules, okay? They continue as free radicals. So that's how ideas are. They just keep hovering until they find a host. Creativity is always looking for somebody who will host it. So be open to it. Open yourself to it. Be a child again. Don't allow procedure and processes steal your ability to host ideas. If you watch cartoons, you see how massive and wide their thoughts are, because they are hosting ideas. And I'll say this: be comfortable with mistakes. Be comfortable making mistakes. Be comfortable. Be comfortable. Be okay making mistakes. That's how you build the spirit of innovation. I was working on the book one time. I think I'm going to go back to it, the spirit of innovation. There's a spirit of innovation. There's a state of mind you get to. There's a consciousness you need to innovate. And listen, I'll say it again. I think my time is fast spent. I'll say it again. There must be a foundation. And except you just want to survive, I'm not speaking to you. But if you want to scale, if you want to build, if you want to make transitions, if you want to evolve, you must build your business on something tangible. There must be value. There must be why. There must be. So on this call, if I have 4 people who are selling fabrics, what makes you different? What speaks to your essence? When you get to that point, then you can then begin to, because until you find essence, listen, the advantage of finding essence is when disruption or a wave comes. Because you are not just doing that thing for survival. You have played host to ideas, to creative thoughts. You can easily make transitions. You can easily make innovations. I hope with these few points of mine, I've been able to convince you and not to confuse you that disruptions will come, but innovation is the way out. And to innovate, you must understand the essence of your business. You must be ready to host ideas. You must understand the value you are creating. You must understand that the difference between balloon ideas and the market. The market will only pay for things they feel connected to. Your customers must be connected to what you are selling. They must be connected. Thank you very much, Desmond. Thank you for having me. Let me stop there. Take questions. You're on mute, Desmond. I think your mic is muted.
Oh, sorry. I mean, this was so powerful. You know, is that last line for me where you said disruption will come, but innovation is the way out. I mean, if you are not making to understand innovation, you must understand that there's a difference between balloon ideas and then what you need to do to take to the market, offer value to people in the market. I mean, this is very, very interesting. So, my people, this is that time where, okay, just keep pouring it in, keep sending in your feedbacks. I see a lot of people clapping, saying this is a lot. All right, this was a clarity session indeed. I am very sure, I can bet that there are some business owners in this place who would have had an aha moment. Aha. All right. Yeah. So people, if you are on the call and you have questions, remember what happened the last time. If you have questions, this is the time to talk. This is the time to raise your hand. This is the time to to not be inside, you know. So let's hear questions, please. Those who have questions. So if you have questions, please. I don't think I can see anyone yet. Questions? Or are there no questions? Okay, maybe I'm not the one. I'm doing the same. All right. So, any questions in the house? Are we saying that there's nobody here that has a question on innovation? Or everyone has broken everything now, finished for people? People are already just thinking and saying, "Ah, what am I going to say?" Okay, I see Success is trying to speak. Success, please go ahead. I don't think he's trying to speak. Okay, so I'm just going to ask a question. I think it's probably a general question. So you have said that we should have ideas, right? Ideas, we should be open to ideas. So the question is, okay, there's somebody who has a question. So that would be after my question. So the question is how do we differentiate ideas? Is there any factor that we can use to tell, oh, once I have this idea, this is a balloon idea, or okay, this is an idea that can go to market and can thrive in the market?
Okay, thank you. So first of all, we all don't just have the luxury of that, but ideas have to be tested. Ideas have to be tested. You have to take them to market. Okay, if you're a software engineer, if you're an app developer, you must test. That's why people collect money to be software testers. People make money just testing softwares. Okay, yeah. So you must test the ideas. The ideas must be tested. Okay, but of course, you must also be pragmatic. I use that word a lot these days. You must always be able to create cushion effect. So this idea I'm testing, am I going to waste money? Do I have the luxury of the money to waste? Or do I just put my idea at a particular level and test it? Do I need to do something else first while I'm trying to blow that idea to just test my confidence in the market? Let me tell you people one important thing I wish I had learned early. The thing you are doing now does not have to be what you would do first. Okay, most of you are looking for capital because you are still thinking of doing the same business. Do something else that will raise capital. I'm sure most of you on platform heard Dr. Ogbeche's story on how he raised money for his first diesel project. It was where he was working and the shares he was buying. That one day he just sat down, was calculating all the shares and found out that it was 427,000 naira. And he did 300,000 naira to buy it. So sometimes it's not what you are doing now you will start with, but always be a process thinker, always be systematic, always be able to connect the dots. A balloon idea is an idea where you cannot connect the dots. So if an idea looks balloonish and you cannot implement it, for instance, you want to start a car business and it will require you to have 10 million. Maybe you don't have to start a car business. Maybe you have to start selling cars for other people. That's something you can start now. That's something you can go into the market to test. Okay. I don't like using the word because my wife made me stop using it. Low-hanging fruits. But you must always ensure you understand the low-hanging fruit in your business and how do you enter into it. Okay, so look for a low-hanging fruit, click on it, it dovetails into something else, then you build like that. Okay.
Thank you so much for that session. Sorry.
No problem.
So I think Chris has a question. Christopher has a question. Please, you can go ahead. You can unmute yourself, I think.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Oludare. Thank you. Now, I want to ask a question very quickly. Business providing services to people. Now, how do you bring in new experiences that would disrupt the market? Okay, let's say one is into a business, but it's not it's into the provision of services now, rendering of services that are needed at the moment. So how do you bring in new experiences that would disrupt the market?
One of the things one of the things that brings innovation in marketplaces is that you can't innovate in a market you don't understand. That's why you can't do a business you don't understand. So I see people going into businesses they don't understand. I see people going into businesses they don't understand the dynamics and all of it. To innovate in a space, you must understand the space. That's why businesses that stay at the top spend so much money doing market research. So you might not be able to spend that kind of money, but you must be able to get. Let me give you an example. I'm sure that's what I remember when I was uploading last 2 weeks about my experience in market, and this one was laughing at me. Now, I was shocked at what happens in the informal economy. There's so much money that is moving inside markets. It is unbelievable. Unbelievable. But I would never have known that if I didn't have to do a market research for a particular company that took me into the market. So for you to be able to innovate and bring new experiences, you must be open to customer complaints. You must be open to customers' frustrations. You must be open to market forces. You must understand the market forces that play, both internally and externally, within that sector and outside that sector. You must understand. You must be able to sit down with it and say to yourself, the way this thing is going. For instance, now all of you are laughing now. AI has come. People are playing. Okay, so you must be able to understand trajectory. And that's why I always say, people who are in business must be thinkers. You can't say you're running a business and not be thinking. You just cannot. Because every single decision you make must come off a thought, must come off process, must come off thinking. You can't, I don't know how to explain it. Because many people just think, oh, business buy and sell. You give me 100 naira. No. Except you just want to remain at a level. But if you want to build, if you want to make transitions, if you want to innovate, build something sustainable. For instance, my consulting company, I've had to make adjustments a lot of times. First, we are just known as training. Then I found out that what we do is bigger than training. Sitting down with Desmond now, for instance, for 1 hour and just opening up Desmond to his business. It's not training, it's strategy and design. So but you have to consistently think about it, process it. Okay? It takes thinking, really. It takes thinking. There's no shortcut to it. I'll have told you, oh, you need to go and do. No. It takes thinking. You must sit down and think. What I just want to do with this teaching is to highlight what to think about and how to think. But that you will not think. You must think.
You must think indeed. Yeah, you must think. All right. Don't worry. I might just be coming for that 1 hour session.
You're my guy now.
So someone is asking, Oyetayo Daniel from Dana Air or something is asking, saying, I started a study about making wealth and lucky me. I stumbled on this one.
No, he's just excited that he's here.
Oh, he's just excited that he came here. Right. So Daniel, you should please drop your email with Esther. Esther is in charge of our marketing, so she can reach out to you. Okay, so Christiana is asking, in a situation where people just do business as survival instinct and not really because they want to solve or do anything worthwhile to humanity, how do we separate survival from core business processes that begin with a why?
So you have answered it yourself. You must begin with a why. It must begin with a why. It must begin, and that's why I will always advise people to do businesses they are connected to. Do things you are connected to. Do things you feel a connection to. Okay. Do things that speaks to your core. Okay. You might say, oh, what of serial entrepreneurs? Are they doing things that speak to their core? Investing is a core for them. For Warren Buffett, seeing ideas come to life is his passion. And being able to get money to fund those ideas is something exciting for him. So you can't compare yourself. I'm just starting a business. No. Two things, you need to move to make that shift. So ask why. Be connected to it. Okay. Sometimes you will not even know you are connected to something until maybe you go and work for somebody. Most of us just started businesses based off where we had worked before. Okay, then we felt a pull, and this thing I like, and because you understood it so much, you fell in love with it. Okay, you must fall in love with the idea of making money, or else you won't make money. You must fall in love with the idea of creating products, or else you won't. Okay, because just like your consumer, there's an emotional buyer. You, who is the product producer, must be connected and emotional about what you are producing. That's why sometimes as business owners and as why do you think technology owners or people who own apps have to be careful to get somebody who will help them make money on their apps? Because sometimes they feel too connected to the idea. They're just all about the idea and not all about making money. That is another extreme. Okay. You need to make a balance of making money with it. But you must feel connected to your idea. You must feel connected to it. I asked this question and nobody has answered me. Why do people still buy Rolex?
Maybe because there's a status it gives or something. I don't know.
Status. They are selling something deeper than the cost. And people say, oh no, it's because the wristwatch, if you fall inside water, it won't spoil. The chrome is fine. Okay, that's not what Rolex is selling. There's an emotional thing behind it. Why do you buy Apple? So let your business get to the core of that. That's when you can know that you're in business.
Okay, so one more question. Eunice is asking, how do you make your innovation stand out in a really competitive community?
If it's innovation, it will stand out. If it's innovation, it will stand out. If it's innovation, it will stand out. But innovation must not just be because you want to do something different. That innovation must be speaking to a need. It must be speaking to something. It must certainly be speaking to a void. And guess what? Your innovation will even be more powerful if it's speaking to something that people are not even aware of. You know, there's some things people are not aware of that we all have.
Yeah.
If you can tap into that thing that people are not even aware that they need, that's where your power comes. Don't get me wrong. Most of these things take place in transitions. I'm not somebody who will teach you balloon things. No. They take place in transitions. But your mind must be focused on creating value by connecting to an intangible resource, which is usually emotional, feeling, value, status. Go and check the richest companies in the world. People buy them not because of value per se, but because of how they feel when buying them. Why did they buy Benz? Say, you got the fuel efficiency. It doesn't somersault when it. Yes, that you know all that one when you buy it, but the real reason, check it. They've been able to tap into a dimension which is the intangible in the consciousness of a man. That's where growth occurs. Thank you.